And now you can see the Friday Shot Day show in all its video glory on our YouTube page at roughedge.tv.
Rough Edge FM at roughedgefm.com.
It's tiki time at Harbor Cove Cafe. Dive into the tropical paradise at the end of Spinnaker Drive in Ventura with vibrant drinks, delicious bites, award-winning fish and chips, and more. Now featuring extended hours and happy hour. Fridays from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Harbor Cove Cafe, the hidden treasure at the end of Spinnaker Drive. Visit harborcovecafe.net for more information.
Turn it up, get ready for the roar. Friday Shot Day show, knocking on your door. Grab your glass, pour that liquid fire. We're gonna drink till we can't get no higher. Friday Shot Day show, gonna make you scream. Raise your glass high, live that wild dream. Feel the burn, let it take control. Pour another round, lose your soul.
Friday Shot Day show.
This is not the Friday Shot Day show, as we just showed you. This is actually the Backseat Mogul Show, live here on Rough Edge FM. Our guest is checking the audio because we're having a weird situation here. But if it sounds out okay over there, we'll push through.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
We got no echo there? All right, so if you guys are getting an echo, let us know and we'll fix that. But again, this is the Backseat Mogul Show, live here on Rough Edge FM. Johnny D sitting over there.
Yes, I am.
It's going to be annoying, but we'll have to push through.
Yeah.
And Jeff Genet is doing this today. So Jeff, we've been talking a lot about Jeff and his film First Run, and we invited him in to tell us where we stand on it. So, got anything to tell us about First Run?
Before you do that, it's a pleasure, Scotty and I being the two main talents for the movie, having our director, writer, producer come in.
Yeah, of course. Designing the poster, and you guys are big names on the top, and then everybody else is little names.
As like Schwarzenegger said, just make my name bigger than my title. So it works for him. So I apologize for the echoes, guys, and I'm glad that apparently the audience isn't hearing it. We'll push through. So where are we sitting with First Run?
Well, shooting is complete. I got a couple of insert shots to put in there to record, but for the most part, actually, that's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Yeah. For the most part, it's completed. We've been working on editing. Before we finished shooting I in a week editing the entire film, doing a test cut, and then me and my producers watched it. We took notes and to figure out if we needed to reshoot it on those last couple of days, and then took a look at that, tested it, decided we would need moving forward, and then I took a 3-week break because through editing that film, I could see it as like a cohesive film, start to finish. Even though people were showing it, they were like, "Wow, this is really good! Like, I can't believe it looks like this." I didn't expect that.
You're too close to it, probably, right?
Yeah, each scene would flow together fine, but the scene between the scene, everything just kind of seemed like its own individual piece. So I took a step back, took a couple of weeks off, and then this last month I have been taking all 900 clips and lining up with all 1,800 audio clips with those clips.
Wow.
Going through, cataloging them. I sent footage over to a friend of mine who plays Pat in the film, Pat, because he's going to help color grade the film once I'm done editing. So as I'm editing it, he goes in and he does the colors for it.
Nice.
That's what we're working on now. And right now, first 4 minutes, the movie's done.
Okay, well, let's start. How's that first 4 minutes feel?
It feels good. Honestly, like I watched the test edit that I did, and I'm looking at the edit that I'm doing now. And there's some different clips that I've been using as opposed to like what I did have before. My ideas on things have changed a little bit. It feels a little. So yeah, I guess that break was a good time. Plus, having to line up all that audio stuff, it doesn't really count as editing. So it
Well,
just
it should. I would think. It's a lot of work, right?
yes.
Yeah. So if you got 4 minutes done, how long are you working on the film?
For just those 4 minutes?
No. Since you started, when did you start the actual pre-production of this, or the script, or whatever?
The script started in 2022.
2022, and you got 4 minutes of footage in 2025. So you've got 4 minutes. Let's say it's going to be 90 minutes. You got to multiply that by, let's say 100 minutes, make it easy. 5. So 15 years to be done.
I want to get it done by August. I don't know if that's going to happen with the editing and stuff. I think now that we're editing, it'll go a little quicker, but we also have to have people who are recording music. I don't know how long that takes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Do you have doing a score for it, or are you using local songs? Or
I've had people who have offered to do scores. Actually, one of the guys who made Homies the film.
Yeah.
He's like, "Can I do music on the side?" Like, I'd be interested in doing that, so I'm thinking about hitting him up. But yeah, that's kind of I'm not sure how long it will take. What I might need to do with ADR. We need to record voices, audio, or even if we need to re-record a scene or something like that. But so far, everything looks good. The only major things in the scenes are like, well, there's a light stand there, whatever, but that's easy to do. You can just mask it up, like with another scene where, that's not in there scene of just parent.
oh, interesting. I didn't know that was even available on. Well, I guess because you're using which program are you using to edit?
I'm using DaVinci Resolve right now, that's what Pat uses. So I'm trying to make it
Sure.
So it's similar because he does the color grading on that. But whatever I can do, I'm going to export it to Premiere.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to use Premiere really. I don't know how to use DaVinci.
Gotcha.
And Premiere has like better stabilization, better visual effects and stuff.
I've heard good things about Premiere. I just can't afford it.
Yeah,
it's not cheap.
It is not. So I'm using my wife's student account.
You do, and that's a pretty hefty discount too.
Yeah. For the $60, it's like $30.
Yeah, they get that at the House of Magic because they are educational facilities. So they get that price too.
That's definitely.
I'm using a free little. I always forget the title of it. I forgot about OpenShot. I use OpenShot, which is a free source editor, and it's good for the podcasts and things like that. But I can't imagine them editing a film on it. It just doesn't have all those bells and whistles. And I tried the one that you're using now, DaVinci. I wanted to call it Renaissance, which I guess makes sense. DaVinci, yeah. But there's a learning curve there.
Yeah, and that's what's been so slow for me is I'm trying to figure out all the same things that I know on Premiere in DaVinci, and they have in different areas. Like I synced it up. You can pair the two editing softwares so that DaVinci appears similar to Premiere, and then I think there's a way to put the footage in between so you can edit it on both seamlessly. But I haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, but it's a lot. I mean, I looked at DaVinci, and I was like, wow, this has got way more stuff in it than I'm used to. I mean, the OpenShot, you just slide your clip over and you can do the fades and all that, but there's not much in. Well, there is a whole section of effects, but I really don't like the way most of them work. Yeah. But then I switched over to DaVinci, and it's like going from an airplane, a single wing airplane, to the Starship Enterprise.
Exactly.
That crazy.
For me, when it comes to computer stuff, I have been a WordPerfect guy for as long as I can remember. But now I'm trying to get used to Word, and I keep looking for the same things that I had on WordPerfect. They're not on Word, or if they are, I can't find them. Yeah. So, I mean, you get used to something. It's like I'm used to Android, not Mac or Apple, whatever. I prefer Android.
Yeah, well, like I said, that first test edit I I did it, and that was like while I was going to work. I'd come home, I'd do that for a couple hours, but I went through all 900 clips in a week, edited the film on Premiere, and now that I'm on DaVinci doing it, it's like I have to figure out. There's this effect I got to figure out. There's this effect I got to figure out. How do I do this? So I'm like learning the system as I'm going along, which probably is the best way to do it. But
you got to be compatible, so that makes it easier for everybody. Yeah, that makes sense. So tell us about your cast. I'll tell you one of the things that I enjoyed that I was upset was watching them play. They are actors, no question. They're out there doing the job. They're playing their characters, but they were just having a blast.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is going to transfer from the screen to the audience. So tell us about those folks.
So we went through hundreds of applications just to hire those actors. And I honestly think that everyone was the best person for the job. I am so happy we were able to get everybody because when we saw their auditions, it was like, okay, we need that person. And when you audition people on Backseat, which is the website I was using, only 50% of the people you ask for auditions answer back. And then from there, like, it's kind of, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah,
so,
that's an interesting statistic. I thought it would be much higher.
Yeah, so like out of 100 people, we would ask 40 people for an audition, and then 20 people would get back.
Wow.
And then that's what we would have to pick from. But luckily, everyone that, like, we went every single one, we looked at everybody's resume, we watched all their reels, and that's hundreds of them. So it took a long time.
Yeah.
And luckily, everybody that we enjoyed answered back, and it was meant to be that these people played those characters.
Yeah, I
and
think you're right.
were great. They knew the script better than I did because I was like sitting there, all right, what's the next part? And maybe, oh, well, this, and this. Well, I don't think this character would do this because later he does this. I'm like, you're right. Yeah. And, they wrote lines. Carlos, who plays Nathan in the film, he had this book that he wrote a detailed analysis of what this guy's been through in his life, his favorite music, his favorite everything. And he's like, yeah, I know that character inside that. And he's read the script 12 times. And I remember I was like, can I see that book? He's like, you can't read this book. You're not allowed to see it until we're done shooting.
Oh, interesting. Oh.
But
I would like to see that too. I mean, I'm very curious what's in there. Yeah.
But I trusted everybody on this. Everyone was very by the book, but everybody else had their ways of improvising lines. And I think Anna plays Bree. I kind of let her do a little more improvisation than we did Sarah back there in it. And
she was brilliant. I experienced that day.
Yeah. And Pat, who I wrote the part for, I just told him, you don't have to follow the script. Let's do it. Because he knows I've known him for 15 years, and I can just look at him, and he knows exactly what I want. And I know, even if I don't know what I want, he knows what I want. He'll give it. And just watching all these people kind of go through the script and improvise in their own ways, it was very good.
That's awesome. Yeah. What's the actor's name that you let that do the why is the word out of my head now? We just talked about it. Improvise.
The most improvised?
You said her name.
Oh,
Anna. Yeah.
She did some improvisation.
She was doing it. She was working at the snack bar in that scene we were shooting at that day. Yeah. She did like 5 takes of the same scene in a row. Came up with something off the top of her head 5 times. And they were all, I'm trying not to laugh because I'm off camera, but I don't want anybody to hear me laughing.
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely like that because that's the problem I'm encountering now. It's, I really like this take because they do this thing there. But this one's really good. And I'm just, I don't know what to pick.
That's the director's curse. Yeah.
Right. They've all given great performances. I mean, even behind the camera, they're amazing. And now it's like everything's on me. And the only way that this movie's gonna fail is because of me now. Because everyone else brought their A game into it. And I'm just like, right.
Now we've been talking about this movie first one. Give our audience a short little. What's it about?
Okay. It's about this kid named Nathan He just graduated high school, and he's working his first day, his first job. And it happens to be the day of a big premiere for a Star Wars Avengers level film called Galaxy Battle 9. This theater is struggling a lot, and we kind of need this to work out. But the film isn't delivered, so they get sent out to the post office to retrieve the film. Chaos ensues. That's
Try it without any spoilers, etc. That's basically the gist of the film.
definitely not an elevator pitch because I don't know how to explain it. But that's what it is. It's a fun film. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, when you asked me to read the script, I did, and I was about this is fun. That's the key. It's fun. It's one of those movies where you go to the theater and you'll see it and just have a blast watching it. You know, you don't have to think too hard about anything else. It's just a ride. Yeah, and that's perfect for that.
Yeah,
and it's based on your real life experiences in a sense.
Yeah, most of it is based on actual, especially the customer interactions that happen throughout the film. Those are based on the actual things that have happened. Lines that are said in the film are things that I heard, like one-offs in conversations like that. It's just something that's stuck in my mind for years and years. That's got to go on a movie somewhere. That it's all in one way or another based on something that's been said or happened to me.
Yeah, I've had that experience too with I'll hear something or I'll see something. You got to remember that. Thank God for the phone. I just open the notes, put that in them. Eventually, I'll come across it again. And go, that's right. I remember that.
So, see, my problem is I think, oh, that's too good. I'll remember that, and then I go write it.
Yeah, that's why I started taking notes because I was the same way. It's like, no, what was that?
I was at your old theater, well, both of you's old theater, this past week. I went and saw The Accountant 2.
How was that?
It is great.
I will second that. It's better than the first one.
Okay, I haven't seen either of them.
Oh, okay.
The first one is available on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, for free, or did I get around it?
Yep.
I think it's part of the package. Yeah.
That's excellent.
I watched it again before I went to see the second one, and because I'm sorry, I'm interrupting, but I was dead wrong about what happened in the first one. I had this completely different memory of how it ended, and I thought it was stupid. But then when I watched it again, and either they changed it just to teach me a lesson, or I guess got it dead wrong for whatever reason. And it was better than I thought it was. But part 2, I think, is better than the first.
Part 1, I would say it steps up. 2. I mean, you find out some of the backstory in part 1.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if you should see part 2 without seeing part 1 first.
I would see part 1 first myself. And like I said, it's on, if you got Prime Video, I rewatched it before I went to go see The Accountant 2. And
Did you get an odd duck?
Nope.
Yeah, the bummer.
I didn't want to interrupt. I wanted to focus on the movie. And the only reason I brought that up, 2 reasons I brought that up. One, they're hiring at theater. And 2, when are you going to start on First Drawn Part 2?
Okay, I got responses to both of those. When I was done writing the script, I always, in my mind, to continue on what happens with these characters, because I think, oh, you know what, it'd be nice to kind of imagine, but like also it might help me later on figure out what the characters are. So I have an idea for 2. And one of my actors got wind of it, Anna, and now she's adamant that we do the second. And I think everybody's kind of on board for that. And when I told them what the premise was, they were like, all right, Mike needs to do this. So they're in a way writing their own versions of it, and some of it's been really good, and some like, well, let's see. But that would be very expensive because instead of going across town, they have to go across the country.
Oh,
so it's a lot. Yeah, I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't know what spoilers would be. I think that's a very dangerous thing hearing me talk about this film. Is like, I'll just probably drop something.
yeah, and I despise spoilers. This might be people. I don't know if you listen to the show where John gave away a drop. I was so mad at him.
I didn't realize they'd done that. Seriously,
I rest my case.
that was a good movie.
Well, sounds like a good movie if you like acting it.
No point in it.
I was going to go see it this week. but I just couldn't with.
Okay, I can hypnotize you. You didn't hear anything from our show.
For the love of God, don't let him hypnotize you.
I want
Yeah. Anyway, so things are going along. So you're thinking that this will be available to watch by the end of the year?
I think so. Yeah, I know for sure it'll be done by the end of the year. I don't know if we're going to hit that August deadline. We want to submit to festivals. I don't know how long those submissions are open for. So that's something we got to figure out. But I do plan on having a screening or like a screening by the end of the year. I'm looking at places. We'll see what.
Fun. That'll be cool.
Does Ventura have a film festival?
I think so. Out of the museum,
Maybe.
I think they started it last year because I know I heard it was some.
Well, Santa Paula Film Festival started last year, but this year they switched to only short. So that wouldn't be eligible. Which is
Cargo?
unfortunate. I would prefer those filming things, but
Yeah, mine's
Cargo?
Yeah. What?
You said they switched to shorts. You said cargo?
yeah, that was trying to give it out.
Oh, okay.
I'm a judge on the panel at the Santa Paula Film Festival, so I have to watch 90 short films.
Well, that's fun.
I'm about 15 in so far. Some of them I don't understand. Like there's a picture, there's one where this guy's literally the whole film is he's walking down like the Los Angeles river bottom, the cement one, and just filming. And then a minute later he's done. Then he submits it.
Yeah.
What is that? That's not. It's a scene. It's not a movie. There's too many of those. But there's been some really good ones too. So I'm only, like I said, 15 in out of 90.
I am. This is the second year I'm doing it, but I have been lucky enough to be selected to judge the Buena High School.
Oh, that'll be fun.
That's I used to be in that class, so the teacher was looking for a alumni or filmmaker. I'm like, well, I hit those.
Yeah.
She asked me to do it, and I've been going through the submissions. Submissions are I got to get all my awards by Sunday because they're doing it on May 13th. I think they're having a film festival at the high school.
That's cool.
And those kids are talented.
Yeah.
They're putting out stuff way better than the class that I was in years ago. Like we were just throwing stuff at the wall. These kids are calculated, know what they're doing. Like, the cinematography is great. Like everything that they're doing is just amazing. There's of course they're high schoolers, so like they're still learning a lot of things, but from what I remember being in high school, like these kids are amazing. These kids are like college level almost.
And it's not as never mind. I can say that. But here's the deal. How long has it been since you've been in high school? So you can okay.
12 years.
So do you think that
2013.
so you think the equipment angles have helped them a lot in the modernization of? We couldn't get editing software on our computer 15 years ago, probably.
Well,
I've seen it in action, but not on a home computer.
that's a good question. I'm not even sure, but I know that when I was in high school and we were doing that, we had a premiere on the.
Oh, really? Okay.
I had no clue how to edit, so I just let Pat do all the editing because we were in the same class. And having my own short films out of high school, I learned to edit. So now him and I edit together. But he's been editing all the videos since high school, so he knew how to do all that stuff. So we had a lot of the same equipment since then, and you get an upgrade, but it's kind of like a film nowadays. You have film, you have all those editing techniques, and you're still able to put out good stuff. And today, I just have an easier time of it. So I don't know.
I don't want to say it's not intelligent, because obviously it is. But I also think that there's a benefit to having a modern day equipment. I was shooting films on 8mm, crying out loud, and that was a nightmare. You try to edit that stuff, it was horrible.
Chopping it.
Yeah. So now that you do the same things in an iPhone with no trouble at all, you get 10 times, 100 times better results. So I think that's probably.
And you can add special effects to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And we had a blue screen back then, and that was, I remember Pat had to put up his puppet, and all the hairs, like you could see through the blue screen in the back. And stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, now you just do this little dial, and it's gone. But
but they're
they're doing a good job of it.
Yeah, good. Good. I think the film festivals are important, and I hope they keep. That's why I'm very glad, even though they switched to short, I wasn't too happy about that because there were great features last year. It's time consuming. I think that's the main reason they switched to short. But I watched every single movie that submitted last year, and saw some great ones. Saw some bad ones too. I mean, there's no question. There's technology or not, there's some bad movies out there still. But I think the film festivals are important. It's a chance for people to, like yourself, to get your work out there, and people go, well, no, not only is this a decent film, the studio can make money with this. So that's the kind of thing you want to be looking for out there.
Was first one a standalone script, or was it based on a book, or based on experience?
Yeah, based on the time I worked at Regency.
Nice.
I've had this conversation.
Well, I was reiterating. Did I use that word right?
You did, actually. Yes. You didn't say plethora.
Not yet. But no, I didn't know if it was based on a book. And speaking of books, if you go to Amazon.com and you type in R. Scott Bolton author, it's going to pull up a plethora
There it is.
of books that Scotty has written. My favorite is Dead Dick. Consider that for another movie.
Yeah, when you have about $250 million.
Yeah, it's that. I like all of Scotty's books, but that one, when I read the last word, it's like in that movie. Is there more? I'd like more, or something like that.
Now there is more, but it needs a lot of work. I mean, Mike, I wrote a sequel last year. And it's a mess right now, but it'll be fixed. It's crazy, just like the last nuts.
But all Scotty's books, and again, if you got Amazon Prime, you can have free delivery quickly. Hopefully, well, maybe not.
Yeah, you got Cinco de Mayo. You got Mother's Day coming up. You got Memorial Day.
Birthdays,
Nothing says Happy Mother's Day like nice.
Yeah.
order now for Christmas.
Yeah, well, add on to that, for the visual listeners, I brought in Neath. I got that book a while ago. And for those of you who like ghost hunting or have done ghost hunting before, there's a lot of, I could tell there was a lot of research that was put into this because there were some things that I was like, oh, that's how it's done. Because I've done some paranormal investigations.
Oh, really? Interesting.
For those of you who like that sort of thing, nice story, Neath is for you.
I did that book with Richard Sennett, who is a Ventura County ghost hunter. Everybody knows Richard Sennett, who was and we had met him before through his class. That's why I actually believe in ghosts. And then I became friends with Dr. Shocker, whose wife is Richard Sennett's daughter. Small world, but these things that happen, So the characters there, the ghost hunters in the books, are modeled after Richard Sennett and his wife. So
okay,
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I've met him a couple of times. I've gone on a couple of his tours and stuff.
He's very interesting man.
Yeah.
He knows a lot of stuff, sometimes too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get him on the show every year. We haven't had him the last couple of years. We got to fix that because he comes on at Halloween time, and because we had the connection, he would make time to come into the studio and hang with us and drink most of our booze and have a good time. But it was always fun. So yeah, but we haven't had him a couple of years. But maybe I'll set that up this year. Be fun to get Richard back in here.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So you're going to finish this, and then you're not going to jump immediately into the sequel, are you? Is there something else you want to do, or just want to take some time off? Or
well, this one was very expensive.
by the way, while you're discussing it, I'll put the fundraiser up here.
Oh yeah,
Here it is.
there you go. And I apologize for the wrong title. Help us finish our comedy film first run, but they would not let me just put the first run film or whatever. They had me write out this weird thing. So I apologize for that. Yes, that go donate to which right now we're done with the film, so this is going to be for festival submissions. This is going to be for any reshoot we might need. That sort of thing. So we obviously don't need that whole amount of money that's left over on that, but
Be nice to have anyway.
yeah, future projects or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie cost just over $15,000.
Wow.
And Hopefully my parents won't listen to that part. I have to go to finish it, and right now I'm paying back those loans. And when I finished the film, I think we did the last thing in February, I had 92 cents in my account.
Wow.
So we just on the line finished it with that. So yeah, everybody talked to, they're like, that's a lot of spend on a hobby. And I'm like, well, it's a hobby, but
It's a little
more
yeah.
than I like for. And people are always, well, are you going to sell it? Are you going to do something? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Personally, I don't care if this gets put into a award, the festival or whatever, and gets awards. I don't care. People see it, they like it. That's cool. The awards are same with money. If it makes money, whatever, it's cool. But I just want people to see it, and I want people to enjoy it. Like, I think my main goal is if somebody wants to watch it a second time, or if somebody wants to buy a DVD, I've succeeded. But right now, I feel like I've already succeeded because I've learned so much from just doing this than I would have going to film school for this.
That's literally how I feel about my books. Same thing. I mean, I sell them as cheap as Amazon let me sell them, and I want people to read them and hopefully enjoy them, and move on. So yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
And you also have more avenues now than you did 15 years ago, 30 years ago, for getting the film seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand. I've tried it myself. I understand it's pretty easy to get something on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
Well, that film we worked on, Right Ways Down, is on Amazon right now.
that was exactly. That's one of the ones I was thinking of. A friend of ours, the guy who actually built the studio equipment for us. I'm looking at it like it's changed since he built it up. But Barry Funkhauser, he had a TV series he did with his grandmother, and it was just him and his grandmother, like a sitcom kind of thing. And how do you get that on? Once I saw that, I thought, oh, they must be welcoming people with, probably because they can get it cheap, and whatever. And I think Amazon, the reason that the films that the House of Magic makes aren't there is because it's fiddly. They had a distributor who was taking all the money. So, but anyway, so you have different avenues. I mean, there's always YouTube, even if you need to do that, because there's a paywall on YouTube as well. So there's options.
Yeah, so we'll hit that point when we get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now we're just focusing on editing and stuff like that. So
How by the time you're done, minutes wise, what are you shooting for?
the script was 92 pages, so we were thinking it was going to be an hour 30 something. And when I finished the final or the test of it, it was sitting at an hour and 36 minutes. So I think we're going to be right around that area. So it's a good length. I think it overstays itself.
That's good.
Yeah, that's not too shabby. Because movies back in the day, when I say back in the day, in the 50s and the 60s, even in the 40s, 88, 90 minutes, sometimes 70 something.
I think Gone with the Wind was only like 78 minutes. Yeah,
No, 78 days. But no, that's not bad. I like it.
No, that's how it should be. I love going to the movies. We were talking about the theater. We'll run through those real quick here in just a second because I got to get. But I hate to see a superhero movie that's 2 hours and 45 minutes. That like you said, outlives its welcome.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a Martin Scorsese movie, I'll sit down for 2 hours and 45 minutes. That's fine. But a superhero movie, it gets tiresome.
Yeah. But even some of those films, I feel like people are just trying to get that longer time, and they don't need it to be that long.
Exactly.
I feel like you just do what you can do and get out. You don't need all this extra stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I think about what was that one that we went and saw about the
Brutalist.
Yeah, the Brutalist. There was some stuff in this like that has no reason to be in there, or this part is so long, and there was no not finality, conclusion to what these things were leading up to. It's like I
got open-ended questions that were left open.
Personally,
No, I missed that.
Personally, I thought the movie was a half hour, maybe even 45 minutes too long.
I thought it was pompous and arrogant, but that's just me. I thought Adrian Brody was great, but I wasn't a big fan. All right, so let's talk quickly about the movies we've seen recently because we want to get people out to the theaters. I'm so happy that people are actually going to see Sinners. Now, I know it's a vampire movie, which I think is a lot of it's what people got is drawing people. But once they see it, we realize it's so much more than a vampire movie.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
I absolutely agree with that. It's more about the music than it is about the vampires. It's more about culture than it is about vampires. And
Yes.
It's the analogy of what vampires represent to culture. Yeah, I was waiting for the vampires to show up in the movie. I was like, one of these guys, and then the movie ended.
That's right.
It was very, very good. And people have seen it, and then IMAX, they just announced they only did a short amount of time for IMAX for that film. And now that we're going to see it more, because they've been hearing how good it is, they've decided we're going to extend the run for IMAX so you guys can go see it in 70mm. Like, because that's the way it was meant to be seen.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'd love to do that. I'd see it again in a heartbeat for that. The movie was just stunning. It was like you said, it was about the music, but it's just so big. I thought it would be good for the trailers, but I didn't realize it'd be that good. I think this is probably going to be a Best Picture contender.
I mean, yeah, I saw the trailer. I felt I had seen the whole movie. There were some parts of it that was like an end of the film clip. I don't know why we all put that in there. Or like you would tell me this information in the trailer. But even with that information, just watching the movie, it was just beyond expectation what it was. So yeah, I would recommend seeing it. See it in regardless. If you want to see IMAX, see it in IMAX. There's 70mm theaters here in California. I know there's one at the Universal City Walk. That's where I went and saw Dune in 70mm.
Oh wow!
I would recommend it. If it's not 70mm, if it's meant for 70mm, go see it.
It makes a difference. It really does. Yeah. So what else did you see?
In the this week, I saw Thunderbolts, but I saw a lot of other stuff on DVD.
Okay. So the good news, Johnny gave Thunderbolts a thumbs up.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll go this week and see Thunderbolts. I thought
it was fun. And like I was telling you, it was over 2 hours 15 or something like that. But when it ended, I wanted more from it. It's just the only problem that you have is the connectivity with other Marvel films.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of the projects nowadays after Endgame don't have that. They don't have it feels without opinion.
Yeah, it isn't part of the universe anymore.
Yeah,
I know
those connecting parts to other films.
Right.
It feels, I don't know, just like they're just pulling at straws. But it was a good film. I thought the villain was terrifying, which is weird to see for a Marvel movie. That I was actually like I had that fear sitting in the film.
That's
perfect.
That tells you.
But yeah, it ended too soon. I enjoyed it. I thought the characters were fun in a very good way, and not like the cheesy forced way that Marvel does, but it felt organic. It felt I enjoyed the characters. I liked the characters, especially if they were that really having superpowers.
Yeah.
There. So
that's one of the things I've heard most about it is it's got too much heart compared to some of the other movies, and that probably makes a big difference.
Do you think it'll be big enough to on a sequel?
Depends what it costs because it's going to. I think they said they were hoping for an $80 million weekend. I haven't seen the numbers yet, but if it's a $250 million movie, it's going to be tough to recoup that with an $80 million opening.
Yeah, the theater when I went to see it, it was maybe about just over the way. It was open. It was Thursday.
Oh, I see that. Even though it did well on that Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to make a lot of money. That's one of the things Hollywood's got to really figure out is how to bring those budgets down.
Yeah. Because I know those characters are going to return because they are already announced for the future films. Like what is that? Doomsday or what? They already were announced that cast. So I know that they're going to be in that, but whether that's going to be a direct sequel to this franchise or this set of team it's up in the air.
Maybe it'll be like Sinners. People like it so much that it'll have a soft drop in its second weekend, which is that's the key. What do I always tell you? First weekend's important for promos, but the second week will count.
Yeah.
And if it only drops, a small percentage, like what did Sinners end up dropping, like 7%? That's unheard of.
I thought it went up.
The second week? Oh, no, it dropped about 7%. I thought
Which is not that bad.
There was a movie.
No, 7.
Up in
maybe they changed figures. Maybe they readjust them. But last time it dropped 7%. And those kind of movies drop 50, 60%. So that's how you know it's going to be. It's like Titanic was dropping like 2% each week when it was playing. And then some weeks it bumped back up. You know what? All right, I got to run, folks. I got to get out to the fairgrounds. Jeff, thanks for coming in. I'm sorry it's such a short show, but and we had technical problems, but we'll get you back. You're just right on the corner, right?
You guys can call me whenever you want. 5 minutes before the show, whatever.
Okay, tomorrow.
We're not doing a show tomorrow.
No, we'd go to Harbor Cove Cafe.
We probably should do that. Yeah.
We could do a Fox remote.
What remote?
Fox, FAUX.
Oh, full remote.
Yeah, that too.
Revote. Let's revote. We're going to hang up now. All right, guys. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Hey, and
thanks for coming in.
go to the GoFundMe page for First Run.
Yes.
Support local filmmakers and support local theaters, because
You'll know eventually. Yeah.
And support local.
I'm in trouble now. I got to go.
Support your local authors.
That's important. Brought to you by The Grape, Ventura County's premier jazz venue and cocktail lounge, located at 2733 East Main Street in Ventura. For menu and music schedule, visit them online at thegrape.club. This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.